Hi, thank you for watching us here at Tax Talk UK, where we talk about all things tax, as well as other important aspects of self-employment. So we've been asked about bank accounts if you're working for yourself. And before I talk about that, if I could please ask you to take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you'll easily be able to refer back to the information if you need to, as well as being able to find other information, which is catalogued through our playlists across a whole host of useful information aimed at supporting you in your self-employment. Of course, if you want to be notified when we upload new content, then you should also turn on the notifications. So on to bank accounts then. So we've been asked if you're working for yourself, what should you do with regards to a bank account? Firstly, of course, it will depend on your trading style. If you have decided to trade as a limited company, then you will recall that you have created a separate entity from yourself. So you and the limited company are not the same thing. Therefore, your limited company will need to have its own bank account, and all of the company transactions will need to be through that company bank account. And obviously any movements between yourself and the company will need to be accounted for fully, which we look at in more detail in other guidance. Now, if you're a sole trader, of course, then you haven't created a separate entity. You and your business are one and the same. So certainly from a HMRC or a legalities perspective, there's no reason that you have to have a separate bank account for your business. Having said that, it can get very complex if you try to run a business bank account through the same bank account as your own. And as we move, as more people become mandated to comply with Making Tax Digital, and a lot of us are moving onto digital software to maintain our accounting records, you will find it far simpler to have a separate bank account for your business. And then, of course, the other aspect to consider is the terms and conditions as imposed by your bank. So if you have a personal and business account, it may be that the terms and conditions imposed by your bank prevent you from being able to use that account for business purposes. So one of the reasons historically why people with small businesses are a little uncertain of having a separate business bank account are because of the cost implication. But again, as we move more into the digital era, we have digital banks these days where you have no high street branches. Everything's done digitally, and invariably they are very low cost and or no charges for sort of general services at all. And these are great as well for complying with Making Tax Digital and using with your Making Tax Digital software. So of course, most of the high street banks are able to facilitate a bank feed to your Making Tax Digital software. So I'm not in any way implying that you can't use that bank, but of course the digital banks have come about in the digital era, and they obviously their systems are perhaps a little bit advanced on the high street banks in terms of the sort of digital presence. So yes, so that may be one thing to consider. But yes, so there's not any reason that you have to have a separate bank account unless your bank conditions require you to, but I would suggest that you should consider doing this. Just keeps everything nice and tidy. You should start as you mean to go on with your business. Of course, you want to keep your accounts tidy. You want to make sure that you account for everything, that nothing's missed. And again, it can be very easily done if you're trying to separate out personal transactions and business transactions. It can be very easy to miss something, whereas if you have a separate bank account for your business, which, as I mentioned earlier, if you're trading as a limited company, you will be required to, but as a sole trader too, if you just have one account that you all of your business transactions go through, then it's far easier to make sure that you don't miss any expenses that you can claim for tax purposes, for example. And it just makes life a lot more simple for either yourself or any advisor that you have engaged to carry out your bookkeeping. So hopefully this has explained a little bit about what you need to be doing in terms of business bank accounts. And just to add that if you change trading style, so if you are a sole trader and you become a limited company, then again, you have created a separate entity. That limited company needs its own bank account, and so therefore you will not be able to use the one that you've used for your sole trader. You will need to open a new one. So hopefully that helps give you an overview on this, and I hope that that is useful. Thank you very much for watching, and please do remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Goodbye.